Today, I'm doing a video about maintenance and repairs on rental properties. Now, we've got a lot of experience with rental properties. We manage a bunch of rental properties. We have for a long time. I can tell you that there are two ways to approach maintenance and repairs. And we're going to throw into that mix, the turns or the make readies, whichever you want to call them. So when somebody moves out or is evicted, you got to go in and get ready for the next person. So they're all going to be lumped together. There's two ways you can approach it, obviously. And we could say the right way and the wrong way. And we could also say the right way and the cheap way, because it's exactly what we're talking about. Sometimes I have clients, property owners, and of course, I understand completely the need for profitability. Why would you invest in something you're not going to make any returns on? That would just be ludicrous. So I agree with that. But you also have to understand that if you buy rental properties, you're going to have maintenance and repair costs. If you buy old rental properties that haven't been taken care of by the person you bought them from, because they're doing the same thing that you're fixing to do, and that is they're going to go at it the cheap way, and you go in behind somebody who's been doing duct tape and super glue repairs on everything, and now the repairs crop up while you own it, and now you're wanting duct tape and super glue repairs. You got to understand, you are opening yourself up for a massive problems. You go out and you hire these handyman guys, that have no insurance and no licensing. They're fly-by-night people, right? They don't even have a business for real. They're just a guy with a Cash App, right, or a Zelle account that's going to go out and calls himself Billy Joe Bob's Handyman Service. When, if you look through the corporate, through your corporate listings in your state, the guy is not a real business. So you're going to hire this guy. He's going to go in to do these half-baked repairs for $1.298, and then what happens? They fail again. You're going to hire the same guy. You can't get a hold of the guy. You hire another guy that's got duct tape and some super glue, and he goes in and he duct tapes and super glue the thing back together again. It fails again. I hire another guy to go in, and you see where that's going. So the reality is, if you hire people and you don't pay them enough, you can't expect them to do a very good job, because they can't stay there long enough to do that, because they have to go to the next job, because they got to put food on the table too. They got car payments and whatever else they've got, insurance and on their car and everything. Now, beyond that fact that their work's probably shoddy because they're having to do it really fast, they don't have any time to spend and get the good quality stuff done. Beyond the fact that when they do it shoddy, it's going to fail and cost you 3 times as much to fix a failure as it does to fix the problem originally, because now more things have failed because the problem has moved down range. Beyond all that, because they're not licensed, they don't have any liability insurance. So now what happens is they go in and fix something, do a shoddy repair, and something else is very badly damaged. You can't get them on the phone, or even if you do, they say, that's not my fault, it's not my responsibility. What are you going to do? You're going to file a lawsuit? You're not going to do that. You're going to hire another company to come in. You're probably going to pay cheap too, and they're going to come in with their brand of duct tape and their brand of glue, and they're going to put it back together another way. And then a little while later on, you're right back to where you started from. So they don't have any insurance. They have no liability insurance whatsoever. So if they damage something, they're not going to be able to repair it, because they're living hand to mouth because they're working too cheap. Simple fact. They're working so cheap that they're living hand to mouth. They can't come back and fix it because they can't spend the time to do something for free. They got to go make some money doing another cheap job so they can keep bread on the table, right? Now, the liability insurance also covers if they go in there, they damage something that's not yours. Let's say they go in there and they're working on something and they slip and they reach over to grab themselves from falling on the ground, and they grab the lady's brand new 75-inch TV and knock it over. Bingo, bongo, busted. Now what do? Now you as the property owner, you're going to be buying that lady a brand new 75-inch TV because that guy didn't have any insurance, because he's working for $1.28. So he didn't have any insurance. He couldn't afford insurance, getting paid that kind of money, not put food on the table. So now you're buying a TV, or you're buying a lamp, or you're buying some Or worse yet, I know this to be a fact of what happened. A guy was moving a ladder around, trying to do something with the air vent. This handyman was moving a ladder around, and he knocked this lady. This lady had an urn sitting on one of these tables. He knocked it off, and it broke, and it had her father's ashes in it all over the floor. Irreplaceable. Irreplaceable. Now, of course, was it the guy's fault? I don't know. He knocked it off for sure. But did he knock it off because he was moving around too fast? He was unable to spend the time it took to be careful or anything like that? Would liability of insurance have eased the pain of this lady? Probably, because she's going to have to buy an urn and sweep that up and put her dad's ashes back in some other urn or something. But now she's going to have to buy it because that guy didn't have any insurance. So liability insurance is a very big thing in those instances, right? Now, liability insurance can also be because you harmed somebody. That's right. Let's say you go over, and these stories are all true stories. This is stuff that actually happens out there in the real world, not in the world of trying to get a repair done too cheap and hiring the wrong guy, but in the real world, this happens. So there was a lady out there, and she had a problem with the plug that was near her sink, right? And so the handyman went out and he said, the receptacle's bad. The outlet's bad. We'll have to put a new one in there. So he removed the outlet and he put a new outlet in there. He didn't put a Jif outlet like he took out. He put a regular outlet in there. And on that system, you don't have to have a Jif on that particular plug, that outlet, if you have a plug in that series that is a Jif, but there wasn't. That was the only one. And so what happens? Bad news. Lady had her curling iron plugged in, and she bumped the curling iron, and it fell into the sink where she had some water. When it fell in the sink of water, guess what happened? Buzz, pow, blew the fuse. The light goes out in there. It's dark because it was at night. All kind of bad things happen. Okay, now the property owner gets notified because remember, he's the guy that owns the place. And in this case, the property owner gets notified because he was self-managing. And so he calls the guy to go back over there and fix it. And the guy says, I'm too busy. I can't get to it for like 3 days. This lady's like, look, I don't have any power in my bathroom. The power's out in my bathroom. I can't even use the bathroom. I can't put my makeup on. I can't take showers. I can't do anything. The owner says, listen, I'm doing the best I can. The guy said he can't be back out for a few days. This has got to be under warranty, so I can't do this. I can't do. You see what happened? Now, the worst part about it was, thank God she didn't reach in there and get it, right? And touch it, because it would have shocked her. Thank God, as soon as he went in the water, it buzzed and popped the fuse and blew the breaker and did all kind of other stuff. Thank God that happened, because the dummy took the Jif out and put a regular outlet in. But again, he's cheap. He was into. I think that the story goes on this one that this handyman had told the property owner he'd go put a new outlet in for $20. He said, "I'll go do it for $20. $20, I'll go do it. $20 and a donut, I'll go do it." Yeah, it sounded good to the owner. $20, heck yeah, go ahead. Heck yeah, go ahead. That lady reach in there, grab that thing in that water like that. Bad news for Bonzo. That lady would own that building and anything else that guy had, because the lawyers in Jacksonville, they don't play. You got Eddie Farrah, you got Harold and Harold, and what are they doing? They spend a fortune on TV ads for just such thing as this. The news media, they vacillate over these things, man. They're pouring at the mouth waiting for something like this to come up so they can report on a slumlord, right? That's the way they eat this stuff up. So now you've saved some money on repairs, but now you've put somebody at risk. You've now caused a problem that maybe you get the microphone disorder, which is what I call when somebody calls code enforcement and the news gets a hold of it, and then they go follow up on the investigation, and then they call you a slumlord. By the way, in Jacksonville, the law of the land is now that if you own one property, the city now connects them all together. So if you have something that code enforcement goes and looks at one building, they'll go inspect all the buildings for the same thing. That's right. So why mess around? Why not go hire a real company, pay you the real money they're supposed to be paid so they can take their time, they're going to do it right, they've got liability coverage, and how about this one? You know your Randy Handy guy that showed up? He has no workman's compensation. Let's say he's in there and injures himself. Right? Gets up on a ladder. This is no kidding now. He gets up on a ladder, fixing something on the ceiling, putting a light fixture in, falls off, breaks his arm. Guess what's going to happen? Eddie Farah is legally right for you. That's what he's going to be told. And they're going to sue the property owner. And you're thinking, wait a minute, that guy was accepting money. That guy was taking the job. And how can he sue the property owner because he was hurt on your property? And listen, if you think that though the evidence doesn't show that he should be paid anything, try that one in court. Try that. Because Eddie Farah, well, we have the Mac Daddy guy here, the Morgan and Morgan, the richest injury lawyer in America, has an office right here in Jacksonville. That's right. He used to live here. I think he lives in like Ocala or something now. Maybe still lives in Jacksonville. I don't know. The richest one in the world. He didn't get rich by not winning. He didn't get rich by not taking on a bunch of cases. He's going to take this case on, and you're going to lose everything. So you just stay out there. You pinch those pennies. You don't vet any of these companies. You don't find out if the guy's got licensing. You don't find out if the guy's got anything. And let me tell you something about the electrical stuff. That plug. If you don't use a company that has a licensed electrician and goes in and does the repair and warranties the repair, and something happens, they're going to sue that company. Somebody happens that person there, they get shocked in any way or PTSD because somebody else got shocked, who knows? They're going to sue you. They're going to sue that company. And if you have a property management company, they're going to sue the property management company. Well, if it's this property management company, we don't have nothing to worry about because we're not going to do that. We're going to make sure that anybody goes in there has insurance out the wazoo. They have workman's compensation policies, so if somebody gets hurt, and we're going to make sure that happens. If you're a client of ours and you don't want that, you want to hire your own people, that's fine. We'll still manage your apartments. And when things go wrong, we're going to call you and we're going to tell you that the stuff is wrong. Then you can call your guy and have him go over and fix it. You can make the appointment with the tenant. They can go over and fix it. Because I'm not going to send a guy that I know shouldn't be working on a wheelbarrow to go fix some problem that has to do with a breaker panel. And that's what these handymen do. They go in, they work on stuff that they should not be touching. They should not be touching. Simple fact. I'm not getting sued. I'm not having LRM's, Lynn Realty and Management, LRM as we call it. I'm not having our reputation tarnished. I'm not having people get hurt. I'm not having people be out of their apartment for days on end because it couldn't be fixed right away. I'm not having some lady who's a cancer patient. I had one of my clients tell me this about air conditioner. The air conditioner went out. They wanted me to wait and find 3 estimates and stuff on a Saturday now. This cancer patient, in the middle of summer heat, air conditioner goes out. And I got a client telling me, well, because I had Works go over there. They have a licensed HVAC guy. They have licensed electricians. They even have licensed roofers. They were going to have their licensed HVAC guy over there on a Saturday and check it out. No problem. Most of these air conditioner companies they don't work on weekends. They work Monday through Friday, like 7 till 5 if you're lucky. You know, that's the only time you can get them to do anything. This cancer patient, the air conditioner was out. She was sweating. She'd been sweating all day before she called us trying to get it to come on. You know, and when she did, I called Works Rental Fix. I was going to have them go over there. I went ahead and emailed the client, told them what was going on. They said, hold on a minute. Let's get 3 estimates. You can have Works go over and give us an estimate. And then I want 2 more estimates. And let's compare them and see who can do it the cheapest. And I said, who am I going to call? It's the weekend. It's Saturday. None of these other companies are open. None of them. Works will go out and fix it, but none of these other people are going to go out and fix it because they're not even there. He said, can we wait till Monday? I said, no. This lady's sweating her butt off. She's a cancer patient. She's got a trach tube because she has throat cancer. I'm not going to put her in that kind of danger. It didn't happen. I told the guy, I'm sending him. It's all that. I'm sending him. So I sent him over there. Guy calls me from Works, the guy that runs the thing, and calls me up and says, hey, he can have it up and running today, no problem. He's got to clean the coil, and there's a switch, a float switch for the drain, because the coil is just so dirty. Some of that dirt is getting into the drain, it's clogged it all up, and that float switch is now triggers so the compressor shut off. Well, that's what it was. It was like $360 or something, $375 to fix it. And the funny thing was, when it was fixed and we put it into the system, and the owner calls me up, he says, "I just saw that was." He said, "That was $375." Come on, let's get real now. You're a licensed HVA technician, one of the 2 or 3 that might be on a Saturday be able to go out there and fix this thing, and he's going to complain it was $375? Give me a break. But you see, that's the kind of thing we deal with in our industry, in the property management industry. I guess the moral of the story is, if you pinch pennies, you're going to get pinched. Thank you for watching.